Artificial intelligence is awesome. I use it all the time. I use ChatGPT for writing and coding. I use the Captions app for video editing. But it's not all good, because if we are not careful with our use of AI, it may get very dangerous. In this video, I will show you the dark side of AI. These are things you've never heard before, and I will tell you how AI may hypothetically ruin your work life. I'll also show you the 3 big risks you need to be aware of when it comes to AI development, as well as how to protect yourself so that you don't become a victim. This is my most important video yet, so if you're already scrolling to the comments, opening a new tab or on your phone, then get off that and pay close attention, because this is very important. So let's imagine this hypothetical character. Let's call him Bob, and Bob is doing the same degree as I'm doing in university, which is a business IT degree with computers, programming, economics, that kind of thing. But Bob has recently started doing something that worries me a lot. He's began using AI for everything. Now, Bob used to be really smart. He'd make the most amazing things himself, and then he joined a group project and he was gonna try something new. He decided to make all writings, all reports, that kind of stuff using AI, and no longer write anything himself. He would write everything with AI, he would code and program everything with AI, and he would do nothing himself. And what ended up happening was that Bob became a bad writer. He never learned how to program because he let AI pass his programming course for him. He used ChatGPT to write all the code. And Bob is now about to graduate, and he will enter the workforce with no skills because AI has done everything for him. And this is what I call the dark side of AI. Maybe you know someone who's a lot like Bob, who's so lazy that they use AI for everything, or maybe it's you. And that leads us on to the first risk of AI development, and that is that AI might make you stupid. If you rely on AI too heavily, you'll end up like Bob, or worse. Imagine a scenario where you're doing an IT degree in university and you just don't learn how to program. It's a little bit embarrassing, and I've got a nice analogy to back up this. When I got my driver's license many years ago, I would use Google Maps to get everywhere. So instead of relying on my own sense of my own spatial awareness, I just put the address into Google Maps and I'd use that every time when I was driving. And guess what happened? I never learned the roads. I would not be capable of getting anywhere myself. If I just forgot my phone in one instance, I'd be completely lost. So what happened was that I lost my autonomy. I was no longer able to depend on myself because I was too dependent on technology. And it's the same thing with AI. If we use it too much, we will become stupid, just like I became stupid when I used Google Maps for directions all the time. We need to make sure we don't let AI do everything for it, or we will end up losing our cognitive abilities and we'll just become worse versions of ourselves. I'm not saying to not use AI, but we need to at least be a little bit intentional with it so we don't let it replace everything we do. What you need to do is to learn the fundamentals of the thing you do. For example, if you're a coder, you need to learn how to code and then use AI to improve yourself, and not do what Bob did, which was to not bother learning to code and let AI do everything for him. Yes, it takes time, but it puts you in control and you become less dependent on technology. Use AI to improve yourself, not to replace learning. Now, the reason AI might make us stupid is because of how good it's become in recent times, but it's not always good, and that leads us on to the second big risk with current AI development, and that is that it's sometimes completely wrong. AI does amazing things. It's a complete revolution. It's probably on the level of the internet or even electricity, because it has changed everything. But AI is not perfect. In fact, sometimes it really sucks. Now, I'll admit I make about half my code in ChatGPT, but sometimes ChatGPT produces completely incorrect code. Either it's bad, as in low quality code, it's insecure, sometimes it doesn't even work. And you may have noticed that yourself when you use ChatGPT, is that it sometimes messes up, so you can't rely on it entirely. Another example of bad AI would be Microsoft Designer, which is great for designing things, but the AI part of it is still terrible and never works the way I want it to. Furthermore, here are some things that AI can't do, but that humans can do. And these are very important. Number one is common sense. And AI is just algorithms, so it doesn't understand the common sense that you and I understand. Number two is context, and you may have noticed that ChatGPT doesn't understand context at all. And the third thing that AI can't do, that humans can do, is knowledge of current events. So the way AI usually works, and I've studied this as part of a university course, is that the AI tools are outdated when they release. For example, we know this with ChatGPT. Its training data cuts off at September 2021. So it's got limited knowledge of world events after September 2021. And this is the case with most AI tools because they're based on training data which is not updated in real time. And that means that the day ChatGPT was released, it was already outdated. And that's true for most other AI tools as well. So those are 3 things we need to be aware of that AI is just not that good at yet. We need to be aware of the risks and not trust blindly. If you're anything like Bob, you are at a serious disadvantage. You need to know your stuff. You need to always verify AI output and be careful because it may be wrong sometimes. Now, for the third big risk with AI, and this is something you may never have thought about about before, and that is privacy. Now with Google and Facebook, there's always a privacy concern. At least I worry. I tend to not share too much on Google and Facebook because I know that they gather my data, they sell it and stuff. We are aware of this stuff. We've known this for a long time. It's nothing new. But I don't think about that when I use, for example, ChatGPT or other AI tools. I use ChatGPT on average 20 times a day, and they know more about me than any other internet tool at the moment. Probably more than Google, Facebook, YouTube, all of those combined. Some days I even speak to ChatGPT more than I speak to humans. They have so much data on me, and if you're watching this video, they probably have a ton of data on you as well. Is that not worrying to you? With all this data that I've given to ChatGPT and OpenAI, which is the company that runs it, I've now given them data on what I'm working on, how I communicate, personal goals, and all kinds of other things that I share with them voluntarily. Now, what happens with that data? I've no idea. Do they share it with third parties? How anonymous is it? What about data security? Are the researchers and developers behind it reading all my conversations? Because some of them are quite private. No matter the case, I guess the blame is on me because I've shared the stuff with ChatGPT. But it's still something we need to think about. Those were the 3 big risks of AI at the moment. Number 1, it might make you stupid. Number 2, AI is sometimes wrong. And number 3, privacy concerns. Now, you need to make sure you take action so that you don't become a victim of AI. Here are 4 things you need to do to stay safe. Number 1, keep learning and maintain your skills. Use AI as a tool to improve, not to replace yourself like Bob did. Number 2, understand AI limitations. AI is capable of incredible things, but it's not perfect and it's wrong a lot of the time. Number 3, validate AI output. Don't be lazy, always check, is this output correct? Every time, no exceptions. And number 4, think about what you share with the AI tools. Maybe not share your deepest and darkest secrets with them or too much personal information because they get access to it. AI is just amazing. The things that have happened recently is incredible with all the tools that are popping up every single week. But we need to be aware of the risks and use it intentionally so we don't end up like Bob. Now this video focused mostly on negatives about AI, but there are a lot of positive things. If you watch this video, I will tell you how I save 10 hours every week using AI. That's a pretty good one. Watch it right now. Take care. Hope it helped.